Hey, how's it going, captains? Admiral Hattori here, and welcome aboard for another World of Warships video on my channel. In today's video, I am sailing the Tier 9 Premium American Large Cruiser, the USS Alaska. Now, I have not done a video with the Alaska, and I actually purchased her on the day she was released, using free XP, of course. I thought it'd be a great time to talk about it because I'm actually trying to retrain a captain for my Baltimore since I reset the heavy cruiser line on the USN. And the Alaska is really a perfect ship to retrain captains for battleships or heavy cruisers. Now, of course, not only that, this gameplay really demonstrates what this ship type excels in. Now, a lot of people like to classify her as a battle cruiser. From what I read, the US Navy actually discouraged classifying this ship as a battle cruiser. And the primary reason is because that she doesn't have torpedo protection similar to battle cruisers or battleship at that time. And that was the biggest reason why they wanted to create a new ship type known as the large cruiser that succeeds the heavy cruiser class. So, the Alaska, she is definitely a solid ship, and it can't be helped that people love to compare the Puerto Rico to Alaska right now. Now, to me, at least, universally said, the Alaska is a far better choice when it comes to the value you put into buying this ship if you're going to use cash down the road. But not only that, you can get her using free XP, which I did. So right here, I am spotted by the enemy Seattle, and it's one of these moments where I felt pretty irritated about this because I was wondering what was the Seattle doing, and not because the Seattle's mistake, because if you're in a cruiser like the Seattle, which is easily Citadel, and you're wide open, that is the issue. And the issue is that she's spotting me because of that mistake, so I'm being focused by the enemy team, as you can see with the priority target. 7 people are targeting me. So right here, I'm able to actually turn away, and let's see if I can get a broadside on that Seattle. As you can see, the Seattle is in quite a bit of trouble for being in the middle of the crossfire between my teammates on the left of my ship, and right there we just removed the Seattle. So one thing that is a big difference between the Puerto Rico and Alaska that I don't understand. Now, I don't remember any other changes during the testing phase, but the big topic with the Puerto Rico during the testing phase was that the Puerto Rico used a battleship dispersion model, whereas the Alaska uses the cruiser dispersion model. The initial stage was that the Puerto Rico was horrible because of the battleship dispersion, but they buffed it by increasing the sigma with keeping the battleship dispersion model to be more tight. The difference, I mean, yeah, you increase the sigma, so it's going to be more accurate, so it doesn't make it into a cruiser. Well, it still has battleship dispersion, so the worst dispersion on the Puerto Rico will be worse than the worst of the Alaska. And I believe the consistency is still better on the cruiser model. And I just, I'm looking at it as like, why don't you just take the Alaska model, increase the armor, and add an extra turret? Why did they go through the trouble of, creating a different gun behavior? I mean, they literally are the same gun, so that is one big difference between the Alaska and the Puerto Rico when it comes to the behavior of the guns. Which one's better? I honestly don't know because I don't even own the Puerto Rico, but since the Alaska guns work just fine, and from what I heard, the Puerto Rico guns after that Sigma buff made her more potent, I guess it's all right at that point because you're gonna get both ships, right? If you're gonna get either of these ships, you're gonna have a similar experience. I don't think it's exact because of the difference in their behavior with the gun. So right here, I noticed that we are clearly outnumbered, and I'm going to set myself up into a position where I'm able to fall back. I don't understand when you spot the entire enemy team, if you know you're not gonna win in terms of the gun battle, don't go in. Just turn around and try to hold off the attack, and then wait for reinforcement to follow up. And the worst case scenario is that your teammates going in clearly knowing that they're gonna lose, but they're gonna go down with honor. and the main fleet from your side is taking way too long, taking the flag that barely has any enemy ships to contest, right? Because most of the ships are on the side that is stacked. So right here, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to engage, and we do lose both of, I think, 2 battleships already. Yes, we do lose both battleships, but at the same time, the position that my team is in right now, we have a ship advantage because the enemy team lost 3 cruisers, whereas we lost 2 battleships. So I'm going to go conceal. The Friesland is going to do a great job of just spotting the enemy fleet right now. Of course, the Friesland, having no torpedoes, can't harass any of the battleships on the flag. So I decided to turn to the port side here. You probably asked me why. I wanted to go to the the opposite direction of the enemy fleet, so I can get the angle. But then I thought about it. Maybe the John Bart. If you look on the John Bart on the A flag, there's a good chance that the John Bart might corner me, which is the last thing I want to be with the Alaska, because she is a ship that is capable of taking on battleships, but at the end of the day, in terms of just reading the paper, and if both players, if Alaska versus a Jean Bart play equally skilled, the Jean Bart should win against Alaska, unless Alaska goes full on ram. So right here, I slow down and I notice that I got the perfect angle. Now, since I'm not like a heavy cruiser or any cruiser in general, on the smaller cruisers, I don't have to sit wide open and span as many shells as possible in order to get damage downrange. I do a lot of damage per salvo with the Alaska having battleship guns. Now you might say these are not battleship guns, but these are battleship guns because you find these guns on the Wyoming, and the Wyoming is a battleship, right? It's just that very small guns for her tier at this caliber. So I got a full broadside on the Musashi. Musashi is in a position where she has to decide how to angle. If she angles against me, she's obviously going to take torpedoes and be at the broadside or mercy of my team. But if she angles against my team, as in this case, I'm going to do a lot of damage with 9 of these guns. Now, I don't recall the exact caliber of these guns. I think these are 330 millimeters, but these guns are certainly potent when it comes to getting the broadside of a Musashi. Now, of course, you don't want to aim at the middle to lower belt, which is where most of the armor is at. You want to aim at the upper belt of a battleship. And as I expect, the Jean Bart is pushing my side, and she is not taking any attention of me, but she knows I'm here, which is why she's sailing towards me. If I was on the other side, maybe, just maybe, I might have a better position, but I was predicting that maybe the Jean Bart might corner me. Looks like the friendly Friesland is going to go back into the A flag and contest the A flag. I'm getting some nasty shots on the Jean Bart. So, of all the ships that I hate dealing with when it comes to playing cruisers in general, Alaska is one of the ships I hate going up against because of one specific reason. She has the American heavy cruiser angle of incidence with the penetration. So there's the auto bounce angle, right? The American heavy cruiser, they have a very steep angle, which allows them to be extremely deadly if you don't angle enough. You almost have to angle bow on 100% in order to bounce these shells automatically. But for battleships, it's like a 45 degrees angle. The American heavy cruisers, it's like 40 degrees, and that 5 degrees can make the difference between citadeling and just ricocheting all the way. So right here, look at this. The enemy team is just at a perfect line of sight for my guns. Enemy Iowa is trying to turn away. Seems like the friendly Benham is giving the enemy battleships a hard time on the B flag. I'm getting the angle. I'm turning around. Looks like reinforcement is coming. We're going to make the counterattack towards A, and somehow the Friesland died. I think the Friesland died to the Kitakaze. The question is, who can outgun, the Kitakaze or the Friesland? Probably died because maybe the Kitakaze had more HP, or is it torpedoes? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the Kitakaze, or maybe the Italian cruiser helped kill the Friesland. So Right here, I'm getting some great broadside shots onto the Friedrich de Grosse. Early Friedrich de Grosse was harassing me. She was sending some pop shots at me. Of course, the armor on the Alaska cannot take up against any ship that has 406 millimeters or bigger. Against Bismarck's 380, no problem. Or the Royal Navy's 380, unless they're using HE, right? So we can get the kill on the Iowa. Seems to be not be the case here. But so far I have 120, almost 127,000 damage. Pretty good, right? I would say average game in a Alaska, average good game probably would be 100,000. So this is above average for me. Look at those nasty pen. Now could I have used HE against these ships? Yeah, I've seen some Alaska games where people use exclusively HE, but generally I just stick to the AP and try to take advantage of that American heavy cruiser shell angle, and it usually works like this. Oh yeah, 6 full pens, 11,000 damage. If I was shooting HE, I'd probably get like 4,000 to 5,000 alpha damage and maybe a fire. But AP damage is what kills. So now the enemy Jean Bart is out. Kitakaze way out in the open. She suddenly disappeared, and now I'm going to start firing at that Italian cruiser. I'm pretty sure that's an Italian cruiser. I'm still trying to get back in the game and trying to figure out what's going on here. I don't even know how to pronounce that cruiser name, but I'm certain that is the tier 9 Italian cruiser. I actually want to try the Italian cruiser, but I'm having a pretty rough time with the tier 5. It's a very flimsy ship. Looks like the enemy Jean Bart somehow made it towards the sea flag. She's going to fight the friendly Seattle right here, while I and the ships with me are on pursuit against the Kitakaze and the Italian cruiser. So right here again, I got a really nice angle on the broadside of a Jean Bart. Again, I'm trying to aim at the upper deck. Looks like I aim at the water lanes. The reason I aim at the water lanes is because the Jean Bart is coming towards me. To avoid the shatters, if I aim at the lower belts, maybe I can aim at the lower belts with the Jean Bart because the Jean Bart has thinner armor. But if you aim too low and you're at a fair distance, you will hit that middle to lower belt and your shells just shatter. You want to go for the upper deck and the superstructure if you can. Another big hit. See if we can finish off the Jean Bart. Looks like Jean Bart is repairing. I fire a salvo, and the friendly Seattle does take out the Jean Bart before I can secure the kill. Now this leaves me with the Kitakaze. Now you might be asking, why don't I switch to HE? And I should switch to HE with the Kitakaze, but I was actually feeling pretty lazy. One thing about playing ships that are very dynamic, that you switch between the shell type, I sometimes forget to switch back to AP in the beginning of the game. So I decided to just stick to AP. So when the next game I play in the Alaska, it will always have AP. Because I get those moments where I see a perfect broadside cruiser and I fired, and I thought when I usually have AP loaded, I thought I had AP loaded, and it turns out I have HE loaded, which is very depressing. But it looks like the Kitakaze is very low, so at this point with AP, that is killing. That is pretty much a death sentence for the Kitakaze if I get a really good hit. Looks like the enemy cruiser has found herself at the border, and I just simply removed that cruiser. Very low, right? But we get a citadel. Feels good, even though the ship, it was not necessary to get a citadel to take out the ship, but as always, we can always add more citadels to our the cards. Looks like the Kitakaze has disappeared again. I'm certain that the Kitakaze will appear and finish it off. But that is the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that I've been uploading a lot of US ships. I'm trying to get other nation ships onto this channel, but I'm grinding for the Ohio, of course. So that's why I'm sticking to the USN, and most of my good ships that I grind for credits or even train captain, like I said in the beginning, is usually USN. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on World of Warships. And it looks like that Italian cruiser almost took me out with those torpedoes.